Yo, what's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday, man. There was a lot of great fights over the weekend, a lot of shocking performances, a lot of one-sided performances, man. Congratulations to Usyk for becoming undisputed ring lineal in two weight classes. Just, I didn't think the fight. I'm not saying the fight wasn't competitive. I just thought Usyk won 8-4 plus the knockdown. I didn't see a way that you can give that fight to Tyson Fury. I thought for the first 3-4 rounds, Usyk was up by all of those rounds. Now I believe in the fourth, Usyk he got caught with a couple of uppercuts. That's when Tyson Fury finally started to throw his power shots, and he did catch Usyk, but immediately, almost instantaneously, Usyk would throw body shots and take it away, right? And obviously the eye-catching shots, the eye-catching shots Fury would land, but I didn't think it was enough. I didn't think it was enough for him to sway the opinion of the judges. Obviously, that's a pro Tyson Fury crowd. They love Tyson Fury. Everything, any shot that he landed, they oohed and awed. But I thought Alexander Usyk held it down. Salute to Brian Norman. Man, what a brutal performance, that he put on Giovanni Santillan. I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I wasn't a big believer in Giovanni Santillan. If you really look at a lot of his fights and his career with Robert Garcia, besides the Alexis Rocha fight, Giovanni Santillan is a little bit, like, I didn't expect a lot of big things from him. You can also say the same with Lindolfo Delgado. Robert Garcia has a good assemble of fighters. He's got Virgil Ortiz, Morataya, Jose Ramirez. But if you look at almost all of their fighters, they just don't look very good. Jose Ramirez almost got knocked out by Rancis Barthelemy. He's never looked the same ever since he left Freddie Roach. Virgil Ortiz, I don't know if this guy can make weight healthy or not. And now he's fighting Tim Tszyu. Then you have Giovanni Santillan. All I'm going to say about Robert Garcia is he's one of the most overrated trainers. When, I'm going to add this little context. When you have expectations of a Robert Garcia trained fighter, he fails to execute. It's when you don't expect anything out of Robert, is that when he catches you off guard. And I don't think I'm being quite unfair there, right? I feel like I'm being quite honest and truthful. And I think Robert Garcia would agree to that. He always said he relishes the underdog position, right? That's why when, for example, you can catch a few of these interviews when, he was asked for the assignment of the Anthony Joshua fight, he was really excited at the opportunity because he's like, this is where I relish. This is where I draw up a good game plan. When the fighter is down and out, like a Brandon Rios or a Nonito Donaire, Brian Veloria, let alone a Marcos Maidana, that's when Robert Garcia can rejuvenate a person's career. But when you have a really good fighter and when you have expectations to be the next, Canelo Alvarez, and the pressure's on, man, all of Robert Garcia's fighters, it almost seems like they fail, right? Like he's going to come up short. Brian Norman put a stomp in. He put a stomp in on Giovanni Santillan. How Giovanni mirrored and damaged Alexis Rocha, Brian Norman had a different thing. And one of the things that I hate to see in the Robert Garcia fighter is the lack of adjustments in fight, in competition. All he really is like all Robert has is like double it up. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to bash Robert Garcia, but if that's what he's expecting for Tim Tszyu to happen against Virgil Ortiz, man, he's got something coming from him, man. You have to have a versatile game plan. You have to have A, B, and C or D. Sometimes, if all you want to do is be a pressure fighter, sometimes all you got to do is double it up. And that sometimes might get the job done. Other times, you get what Brian Norman does, and he brutally beats Giovanni Santillan. What an amazing performance from Usyk. to Brian Norman, to that guy that upset Joe Cordina. There was a lot of interesting fights that occurred. And if you guys were paying attention or got to watch some of these performances, vastly entertaining. Vastly entertaining. Um, wow. Like I was rewatching a few of them and just, the shock and terror of them. I was like, holy we got some new players in these divisions. Emmanuel Navarrete, it's about time he loses. I feel he's one of those fighters that gets away with kind of like a Deontay Wilder. You get away with just being a mediocre boxer, but you have that power. You have that equalizer. There has been so many fights, right? There's been so many fights that Emmanuel Navarrete is getting outboxed. He's getting beat. Like, I think like about that Christian Baez fight. When I think about Robson Conceição, when I think about that white guy Leon Wilson, there's so many fights that Navarrete is losing. And then next thing you know, a couple flurries, a couple body punches, boom, right? He couldn't find that against that Baranchik kid. I thought Baranchik beat Navarrete 9 rounds to 3. He doesn't have any power. He's 35 years old, but I'm like, damn, Navarrete, like, what happened to your jab, bro? What happened to your body attack? What happened to all of these things that allowed you to beat all these fighters? This is literally a stepping stone for you to make history, right? Because the play for let me see if I'm even recording, bro. That should be funny if I'm not even on. The play is this. They wanted Navarrete to make history, become a 4-time division champion, and then eventually feed Navarrete to Shakur Stevenson, feed him to Lomachenko, and just strip all that history that Navarrete was going to make and just pass it over to Shakur and pass it over to Lomachenko. Instead of having Navarrete unify at 130, right? Having a good fight with Joe Cordina rather than Cordina getting beat by a nobody. Unifying versus Oscar Valdez and then trying to fight Lamont Roach. In another world, Navarrete could have been undisputed. But no, there's this fucking mindset that, oh, it's better to be a 4-time, 5-time division champion. And like, no, Navarrete, your path doesn't go to fighting Shakur and Lomachenko. Now, I know Navarrete would get a higher paycheck. I know that Navarrete would relish those fights, right? And Navarrete, I don't really think he cares so much about becoming undisputed and really making history. Like, he just cares about making money, right? And it's evident. But if you really want to make more money, become undisputed, bro. A 4-time division champion, people aren't going to say that you are. They're going to call you overrated. They're not going to give you the credit. But if you become undisputed, you're cemented in the history books. Period. Yo, Drew. 1, 2, 3, bro. How you been, bro? Mic check real quick.
Yo, what's up, man?
Did you catch any of these fights on over the weekend? And what'd you think, bro?
Yeah, man, I was in and out of the zone or the Tyson Fury Usyk fight, just because I was like working. I was doing some paperwork. I volunteered to work on Saturday, so I was in and out. I was streaming it. I'm not gonna lie, I was streaming it. Yeah, I seen the majority of the fights on the top rank, and yeah, man, you called it. You called it the Brian Norman fight. Even before you said all that on the text thread or on the group chat, I think you said it in the last episode, right? That Brian Norman was gonna beat Santillan, right?
I
Or
think
what?
so. I mean,
Yeah.
we say a bunch of nonsense, but sometimes we get it right.
Yeah, no. I was like, wow, yeah. I mean, that one I didn't see coming. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We seen Brian Norman in person, didn't we? So in Stockton, right? So
Correct. Yeah.
and I remember prior to that, seeing a fight of his, and I just wasn't impressed. He was struggling, and he just wasn't able to get that second gear going.
Yeah.
Um, but then I found out that this guy actually, sparred like Terrence Crawford. Like he sparked him, I guess, pretty good. But I'm like, man, like how good is this guy? It's kind of hard to tell. So
Yeah.
from what I seen, he wasn't really too impressive. after this fight, I mean, I don't really, I think of him as a good fighter. Is just, I think Santillan was a very beatable fighter, and yeah, man, it's just dudes like Brian Norman, who's they're athletic and they're strong.
Yeah,
The only they really like really is like the complete package as far as like athleticism and movement and all that is just IQ with him, you know. Yeah, he's strong. He's a pretty strong welterweight. So um, I don't know how good he is. Honestly, like he proved a lot honestly over the weekend, but like how you gonna show us that and then like show us a mediocre uh performance prior to this, so yeah,
yeah,
he's got to do it again for me, and then I'll be like, okay, and it
yeah.
depends who.
So
Yeah.
the way I look at with Brian Norman is when we seen him live in Stockton, and when we seen him, get knocked down by Boca Chica on Pro Box on a Wednesday or Thursday night, and then he didn't look that good against Quentin Randall. That might have been the fight in Stockton. He has trouble with fighters that use distance and like fight the Russian style, like long jab and a 1-2. That's the type of fighters that Brian Norman is gonna have problems with because he wants to. He throws combinations. He's got speed. And he throws with power. So if you're not
Mm.
in range, he can't really unload off, and you'll get
Right.
caught in between, right? In this particular case, Brian Norman will always do good against Mexicans that come forward to him and they want to exchange in the pocket.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's a style.
because he doesn't have to find you. You see, when you
Hmm.
have to find somebody and you only know how to throw hooks, it's
Right.
very difficult sometimes to catch and you're gonna get caught in between. So when we saw him live, yeah, he looked pedestrian. He just looked like, damn, bro, all you do is like you have muscle. And Timothy Bradley, in one of the fights, he was very critical of Brian Norman, and it's because of that reason. And his father coaches him, and he was giving him some ridiculous as like advice in the corner and instructions when it came down to learning how to cut off the ring. And Timothy Bradley was like, "Nah, bro, that's not at all what you do. What you got to do in this particular fight." Well, I feel like a lot of the times is this. Sometimes we overvalue a victory and we undervalue, a close decision fight. You get what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
when it came down to Brian Norman, yeah, he looked mediocre and human in a couple of these fights. And the whole the saying, styles make fights, but in reality, Brian Norman is gonna be like a Shane Mosley. He knows how to do well against the Mexican or the come forward style. But when you
Mhm.
have like an outboxer, that's when Brian Norman will struggle, you know. And it'll be
Yeah.
really interesting to see. Like Shane Mosley, he did really good against Mexicans because he's from LA. So in the sparring gyms, there was always a lot of Mexican come forward styles, and Shane Mosley had the speed combination and the power to neutralize that style.
Hmm.
If you had Mosley with an outboxer, he would struggle, And I think Brian Norman is the same situation. Going back to
Yeah.
Giovanni Santillan, you know, if you really look at his career, it's kind of like Alexis Rocha. Very
Yeah.
decent, fundamental, good fighters, but we really fell in love with Alexis Rocha when he beat Blair Cobbs, right? And then
Yeah.
Giovanni Santillan, we were so amazed by him when he beat, you know, Alexis Rocha because of the underdog position. But if you really look at the whole work of Giovanni Santillan, it's like, damn, bro, you haven't really fought nobody. You haven't really beat nobody other
Yeah.
than Rocha, you know?
Hmm.
And again, I don't want to bash Robert Garcia, but a lot of those fighters, I hate to say
Nah.
it, but they should leave Robert Garcia, bro. Like, look at Hector Tanahara, bro. He was a good prospect, 6'1", something like that, and he never became anything good. Look at
Well.
Giovanni Santillan, bro. Where was your head movement? Where
Yeah.
was your head movement? Like you only pivoted one time trying to get the angle and throw a punch, but it's like, bro, I don't know, man.
Well,
Jose
I think.
Ramirez, like all of these guys, they need to leave Robert Garcia, bro.
Well, I think
Included, man, because
Yeah.
nah,
I think Robert Garcia is he just willing to train these guys. Like I think some coaches are not willing to make themselves look bad and work through the bumps in the road, Robert Garcia embraces it, and I don't think he shies away from a challenge. So I think he does tell them like to move their head around. It's just there's only so much that they can do with these guys. This guy trains so many guys, and he's only gonna tell you so many times, to move your head, and if you're not doing it, that's like he's gonna tell you, and I think Robert Garcia is just willing to work with you know, work with the guys that need more work, and that I think it kind of makes him look bad because I mean he's got dudes like Raymond Murtaye who moves his head a lot, so I think
Yeah.
you
I
got
like
those.
Raymond. I like Raymond.
Yeah, Raymond Murtaye, that is a different story, bro. So
You can
I
say the
think
same thing with Bam Bam as well, but it's just
yeah,
like, I just feel like there with Robert Garcia, kind of like I talked about in the beginning, he relishes in the underdog role. And when you have expectations of him, you're always going to fall short. Like, for example, Marcos Maidana, right? He was always a very tough fighter, boss to the wall type of pitbull cruise. And then he goes to Robert Garcia to rejuvenate his career, have basically a second career when he was thinking about retiring. And then boom, Maidana comes out and beats Broner, then gives Mayweather fucking 24 tough ass rounds, biting the glove, takedowns, knocking his tooth out of his like. Then you're just like, damn, bro, like Robert Garcia, this is his calling, this is his role. And then there's like even Raymond Muratay when he fought recently, he had an amazing performance against Jeremiah Nakatalia, and then boom, all of a sudden, he's struggling with this other Namibian fighter, and you're like, damn, bro, like, what's your body punch selection? We're like, I don't know, bro. It's just sometimes como te desesperas, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you fucking like, come on, Robert. But salute to Brian Norman, bro. He made he fucking, I don't know, he,
yeah, Brian Norman did his thing, bro.
amazing, bro. Like, I can't even stress like how good that performance really good did to his career. And obviously, now that the Terrence Bud Crawford relinquished all these belts, now you have Boots, you have old boy Mario Barrios, you have this kid Brian Norman coming up, and then who knows that you
Stanionis.
Stanionis. Like, dude, it's gonna be a really interesting it's going to be a very interesting division. Same could be said with 135 with all these players. If Tank were to get through Frank Martin, which I don't know if he will
Hey,
beat him, bro. I was watching a little bit of these fights, and I was watching that Hector Luis Garcia fight, and he was putting hands on Tank. Like, he was
yeah,
doing good, and I'm like, well, that guy wasn't even a full-fledged 135 pounder. He was a 130 that just beat, I forgot exactly who. He just became a champion, and then now he's moving up to 135.
yeah,
So I feel like Frank Martin can really beat Tank Davis. That's another fighter, bro. Tank. I'm not a big fan of Tank. You already know this. And
yeah, yeah. No,
for I don't know for better or worse,
uh,
that dude's resume, like, it's a solid little resume, but he gets caught a lot. In every single one of
yes.
his fights, Tank gets hit. Pitbull Cruz, Yurukis Gamboa, Mario Barrios. I think Frank Martin's gonna beat him, bro.
Yeah, no, I can see it happening, bro. I'm gonna throw a little like a hundo on it, bro. Like I like my chances, bro. Because you're right. Fucking Tank does get hit with shit. He does get caught. Um, and he does lose a lot of fucking rounds. I'm telling you, the dude that fought him the best, in my opinion. I mean, it's a combination between Leo Santa Cruz and Mario Barrios. But bro, fucking Leo Santa Cruz was beating fucking Tank. It's just that he was there for him to get hit. He needed to go a little bit more in and out. And
Yeah,
dudes like Mario Barrios, I feel like had a good chance. Until he got caught. He was giving Tank a bunch of problems. So I think yeah, I think a dude like Frank Martin, who's actually explosive,
yeah,
he's shorter. He's not a big target like Mario Barrios. Um, I can see him, edging out some rounds. I'm just a little afraid of him getting caught. Like I haven't really seen too much of his durability. Like I haven't seen him take a real hard punch yet. So I want to see his reaction because that's something to be told right there. But I like his style. He's really tight with his defense, and he's really he's really he's sound. And So yeah, he kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Russell. What's his name? Antoine. Not the small one, the oldest one, but the small one,
Gary
the
Gary
Russell.
Russell Jr.
Yeah, Gary Russell Jr. He's kind of like that a little bit, but obviously he's
Yeah, I think
Russell's a
so
whole
too.
different
I
level.
think, just with size, Frank is actually a 135 pounder. And there has
Yeah,
been many times that Tank Davis has size advantages or, puts rehydration clauses on fighters. He won't have those advantages with Frank Martin. One of the performances that I like watching Frank Martin, where he actually shows his versatility versus against Michel Rivera, the guy that wants to, looks like Muhammad
yeah,
Ali.
yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
Frank
you know,
looked like a fucking force. And now I know
yeah,
in his last fight, he fought a Belgium or a German fighter.
yeah.
And the dude was
Silver
out
medalist.
boxing him, right? The guy was out boxing him. And I just feel like, again, we overvalue a close fight and we undervalue like the importance of having close fights, because again, you can have the stomach flu, you can have an injured hand, whatever the case may be. But can you adjust? And Frank Martin, I think Derrick James told him, look, bro, are you trying to look pretty or are you trying to fucking win this fight? And when he told him that, Frank Martin, just basically bit down and started coming forward, cutting off the ring, taking a punch so he can land one of his own. And I was like, that's what I like to see.
Yeah,
When your game plan isn't going your way, when this guy has good movement, he's got good jabbing ability, he's landing a couple of punches on you when you thought you were slick and you were this, you were that, and then boom, you get down and gritty. When you have
yep,
that grit, that goes a long ways. Now he's gonna have to show that toughness and that grit with intelligence and boxing ability against Tank, because Tank does the same thing too. He'll
yeah,
bite down on the mouthpiece, walk you down with a high guard, and then boom, boom, boom. But on that night, bro, I think there could potentially be 3 upsets. I think Leon Paro can upset Subriel Matias. I think Vosde can upset David Benavides. And I also think Frank Martin can upset Tank. Now, it's very rare to have, your fucking main event, co-main event, and your triple header, your fucking star
yeah,
players fucking lose. But one of the things that I like about this year is all of these tough fights are being made and everyone potentially has a chance to upset one another. And
yeah,
that's boxing. When boxing becomes unpredictable, that's when boxing becomes fun,
yep, yeah.
especially
It's good.
for, a poor man that's trying to come up on some little bets. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, bro. Like last week, bro. Like last week was really unpredictable. I mean, people had their money. People had their money split. Pretty much on Usyk and Fury. It was
Yeah.
like 50-50. People had their own opinion about it,
Yeah.
and but no one's seen Frank Sanchez fucking losing to Caballero, bro, by knockout, and the fashion it happened in, bro. He completely dominated fucking Frank Sanchez, and I was like, I had Frank Sanchez by decision. Not gonna lie, it was like a -120, so it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
even. It was really close. So I did take a chance. Um, but bro, I was like, man, like I would have never guessed it by KO. It was like
Yeah.
this thing was gonna go the distance, for sure. But Caballero pulled it off, man, and he's also a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he ain't gonna fight no Usyk or anything like that. He needs to deserve a shot like that, but um, a short dudes like that would give him issues. You know, um, I would have never guessed that. And then Jai Opatai, did good against Bradis, but he was getting touched up as well.
Yeah.
And
Morales
actually,
Grace is good though, bro. He also
yeah,
gave
he's good.
Alexander Usyk when he was down at cruiserweight a really tough fight. That fucking dude is good, bro. I
Yeah,
thought
he's good.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I thought he beat Usyk when they fought the first time. I just
Really?
liked his yeah, dude. I just liked his work. It was just quality, bro. Like I was like, damn, dude, this dude is really underappreciated right now. So even at the age of close to like 38, 40 years old, he's still giving a prime 26, 27-year-old Jairo Patai a run for his money. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I've never been a big fan of Frank Sanchez. I don't know too much about the, Ayi Kabayao guy. I know that he beat this Russian guy, and I believe this Russian guy, Arslan Bek, is fighting an Australian named Junior Fa. But there's 4 heavyweights I've never been big fans of. One is Philip Hergovic. I think that dude is There's a lot of times, bro, I'm like, that dude should be disqualified. That dude hits behind the fucking head intentionally. Like, he's mean. I just don't think he's that good. I thought
Mm,
Zane beat him, but regardless, Philip Hrgovic is one of them that I think he's gonna lose relatively soon. It could be to Daniel Dubois. I don't know. Dubois has a little bit of quit, but if he shows that performance that he showed against Usyk and attacks to the body, Daniel Dubois can upset him. But for Hrgovic, not a big fan of.
mhm.
Frank Sanchez, I'm not a big fan of. Now, some people are saying that he had a knee injury, but I wasn't a big fan of him. That guy Beck, and then there's another heavyweight that I'm just like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's still a lot that he needs to prove because like they just have the
Yes.
size. They just have the size. They're not proven to me. Like I would say this: if Derek Chisora was maybe 3 years younger, he would beat Philip Hrgovic. That toughness that he showed Usyk, Derek Chisora could beat Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez is very athletic. He has good movement, can bounce into the side, and has a good jab, but he doesn't sit on his punches. And he doesn't sit on his punches because he doesn't want to get hit. The minute he starts to get hit, he starts to get spooked. Luckily, he's got good athleticism, and his resume is a little bit suspect and weak. But I would think when the going gets tough, I think he would cave. And unfortunately, like I said, I didn't know too much about, or even till right now, I don't know much about that guy, Yeet Cavallel. But it was a little bit long overdue. Same thing
Well,
with
he beat that dude Arslan Beck that you're saying right now. He beat that. He upset him. He was actually supposed to get knocked out
I know.
the last fight, and then he upset this guy. Now he upsets Frank Sanchez. So now we're like, okay, this guy putting everyone on notice.
Let me ask
I
you
like
something, bro.
Joseph. I like Joseph Parker against him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Joseph Parker, he's yeah, dude. He's really good, bro. Like
Yeah.
I will say this, and it's kind of like when it comes down to like grading actors, just a little sidebar, just sidebar.
Oh.
When an actor is okay to accept a movie role where he's got to be ugly or be in the like like not liked in the film, that's when I know that that motherfucker can act his ass off. Same thing with boxing. When the boxer is okay and coming out looking ugly in a fight where he's like gonna get bloodied, broken nose, fucking maybe a messed up jaw, a cut here and there. When he stops trying to be a pretty boy in the ring and he can get fucking down and gritty when the going gets tough, just like Joseph Parker was against, Zane. I was like, all right, this is when Parker can become a fucking champion. Now I know he beat Andy Ruiz, but in that fight, it was some hometown cooking, and he was trying to look pretty and cute, trying to box from the outside. Like, motherfucker, you're 6'5", and you're fucking a heavyweight, bro. Sit on your fucking punches and let them fucking punches roll. You can bang with the big ones, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, same thing, you know what I mean? When you're in your mind, when you're not trying to be a pretty boy and you realize this is a fucking fight, that's when I know that you got it in you. You got that dog. You got that mindset. So like Usyk, for example, you know, he was complaining whatever little tactic that Fury was doing, whether it was like a borderline low punch or just like he was complaining to the ref, like, hey, the head, the head. That's like, motherfucker, this is a heavyweight fight for undisputed. Let me remind you, this is a heavyweight fight for undisputed. You're fighting a dude that's damn near 7 foot tall, 70 pounds above you. Get fucking down and dirty in this fucking fight. Don't try to look cute here. This ain't the amateurs, bro. Throw in some fucking elbows. Like, stop trying to be nice. Stop trying to look cute. Make it into a fucking dogfight. Make it memorable. And it took Usyk a couple of uppercuts to the jaw to finally get in the mindset. It's like, all right, this is a fucking fight now. Not artsy fartsy jab, poke here, titty twister here. Now I'm gonna fucking throw some bombs at you. And when he started doing that, boom, the second half of the fight, he almost had Tyson Fury knocked the fuck out, over there to Kingdom Come. How'd you see that fight, bro? Because, you did mention that the Buckies had it, 1-1, 50-50. How'd you score it?
Uh, Usyk fight. Usyk won. Usyk won fair and square. Um, he Tyson Fury was playing with his food too much, and he was winning. He lost the first 2 rounds, and round number 3 was kind of a toss up. Um, but I'll give it to Usyk. And then he pretty much won 4 all the way to 8. And then Usyk wins round 9, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much 4-4. And yeah, they split the last 4 rounds, you know. Well, actually, they didn't split the last 4 rounds. My bad. I meant Usyk was pretty much outpointing him the rest of the way. One of those rounds could have easily gone to Tyson Fury, but the the moment he started playing with his food, bro, that's when things went downhill, and that was at round 8. That's when he started mocking him and doing all this because he was starting to see like he was he was sweeping him, and he was like, "Shit, I got it," and then here comes round number 9. He gets caught, gets put on notice. Without that moment, um, Fury wouldn't have been on his toes so much, and it would have been a easy unanimous decision by Fury. That's why I'm like thinking if they rematch, Fury can beat fucking Usyk, bro. Usyk does have this crazy ability to turn things up. Not only that, but he
Yeah.
switches. Not only that, but he switches the game plan. He changes the way he approaches Tyson Fury. So that's like a different type of effort that you're giving. You're like trying to you're trying to outthink him in a way where you're gonna hurt him, and that's what makes Usyk great. And he's able to do that in the later rounds. So dude, it's the way he cuts off the ring, and he does these little feints to really start to like mess with Fury's mind a little bit, and then he catches him, bro. Like he was catching him a couple times in the early rounds. Fury was actually avoiding it in the middle rounds, and then he changed his approach and actually had him hurt, had him concussed in the 9th round. And he was like, shit. And that's when he didn't really fully recover. Um, he was recovering pretty much for the rest of the fight, but he was, yeah, he lost fair and square. Usyk deserves this win. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I feel you, bro. Honestly, I'm gonna say this, man. I didn't really think the fight was close. What I mean by that is, I thought Usyk was pretty much pitching a shutout the first 4 opening rounds. Now in the 4th round, Fury finally throws an uppercut, and like he started landing the eye popping shot on the 4th round, but Usyk would immediately take it away. The 5th round, in between the middle rounds, right, like 5, 6, 7, and around 8, I thought the fight was starting to turn, and I was like, "Fucking Fury's actually going to win this." You see that he was landing the uppercut a little much more, often, and he started to buzz Usyk with a few of them, and he like you were saying, he was playing with his food. And then in that same round, you can probably say it was 4-4, and then as Usyk goes back to his corner after the 8th round, and he's like, "Fuck, dude, that shit hurt." Like kind of like you said, he turns up the heat, starts throwing more combinations, and there's that epic 9th round. An
Oh
amazing,
yeah, hey. Oh my bad.
similar to how Joshua in the second fight, he was giving a really good account of himself. And then next thing you know, here comes the 10th round, and Usyk looking like he was about to get knocked out in both of those fights. Comes back the next round, boom, boom, just fucking throws punches and bunges. Man, bro, has these dudes fumbling about, buzzed and stunned and amazing, bro. And then the 10th round, salute to Fury, bro. Salute to Fury because he recovered quick. And it
Hmm.
did look like Usyk was gassed out. I was thinking to myself, possibly he gassed himself out or he's saving himself for the championship rounds, right? 11 and 12, and he's going to fucking, come out really late. And that's pretty much exactly what he did. I thought it was 8-4 plus a knockdown. You can say 7-5, but anything else, a draw or Tyson Fury winning, nah, no way, bro. I know that the world wanted Fury versus Joshua. UK wanted that, but no way, bro. This isn't a situation where people or the powers that be are pandering to the Ukrainian. This isn't political like that, bro. Okay, this
Yeah.
isn't that moment where it's like, no, this was pretty much a one-sided beatdown. And if you weren't convinced, let me show you what the 9th round looks like. You see, to your point of Fury playing with his food, bro. This is the first fucking opening round, and you're already trying to showboat, bro. The motherfucker just broke your nose with a looping shot to your, and
For
you already
real.
bleeding, and you already look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Why are you trying to showboat? You're losing this fucking round. The fight barely started, and he tries to tell you, "Oh, I was having a little bit of fun in there." No, you weren't. Was that ninth round very fun?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? And if you were paying attention, it was a modicum of what was to come. You get what I'm saying? Like it was a precursory act of like if you saw that first round, if he lands that on your kisser, on your chin, not your nose, you're gonna fucking feel it, Fury. And I will say this, bro. And I've been saying it for a while. I think Tyson Fury is extremely overrated. He's rated in the sense that he's a good fighter or a good boxer,
Hmm.
but I feel like people give him way too much praise. You know, and I just haven't really been like mesmerized by his career. You know, his fights with Deontay Wilder were incredible, but Wilder is just a one-trick pony. The dude has stupid ass footwork. He doesn't throw his jab enough. He has an amazing laser too, right? But no uppercuts, no idea of body, punches, no ideas of setting up traps. Doesn't know how to fight off the back foot other than throwing slapping punches. That's your
Yeah.
best victory, But
Yeah.
Fury started, for some reason he found some uppercuts that he realized that he can throw against Dylan White. He found it in this Usyk fight, and I was like, this fucking guy is actually gonna find ways to win this fucking fight. And I'm glad that he didn't, bro, because I would have been mad. I don't like Fury, bro. Like, what is there to like? This
Yeah.
dude
Yeah.
leans on you. He's a lean, mean fighting machine. Fucking smacks you, tries to lick the blood off you. Like, bro, you ain't like that, bro. You ain't like that. You know what I mean? If you was like that, you wouldn't have retire from the sport 2 years and put on a stinker against Klitschko. If you were like that, you would have fought and knocked out Anthony Joshua a long time ago. You get what I'm saying? If you were really like that, you would have fought Usyk long before. You know what I'm saying? He not like that, bro. That's
Yeah.
why I
Well, he's
was always scared. The minute he took the Francis Ngannou fight, I knew that he wanted that paycheck before fighting Usyk because if he lost to Usyk, that Francis Ngannou fight wasn't
gone
going
to
to be,
shit.
it
Yeah.
wasn't going to be an option. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, all right. I know that you're 7 foot tall, but you got a little bit of pussy in you. You know what I mean? But salute to him. I don't want to use that word, but like I know that he had a little bit of fear. You know what I'm saying? That's a little
Yeah.
bit harsh word. I got nothing but respect for him. The dude's a gladiator, but I know that kind of like Ryan Garcia, they're willing to do anything to get an upper hand on people, and that's what they do.
Yeah. No, it's just. Yeah. It's just. Yeah. I think Fury's just taking advantage of his height. I mean, you can't really argue with it. Like for me at least. I'm not a huge fan of Fury, but I'm a fan of someone who can come in at his size and do what he does and the way he moves. It's like you rarely see that. It's a rare combination, and it's also the fact that his fucking head is at 6'7" up in the air, and you got to reach that face in order to hurt him. I mean, you can go to the body, but I'm saying you still got to swing and hit a target that's floating around that 6'7" in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like that's unique, bro, and he's using that to his advantage. And he don't have to be. He can get away with a lot of shit. He doesn't have to move up in weight because he's already in the heavyweight division. So he's not like a Navarrete and get away with all this shit and all this horrible footwork and all this, uh, all this you know, incorrect shit that he does. You know, it's gonna catch up to you. You know, so I mean, he's a better boxer than Navarrete, obviously, but he's just using that size to his advantage, bro. But Usyk deserves this win, bro. I'm so happy he got this dub, bro.
Oh yeah.
Just because he's all the shit that he's been going through. I mean, he's an all time great, man. I can say top 10, but I need to do my research like a little bit further because Lennox Lewis is actually like the best heavyweight of all time in my.
Nah, nah.
in my books, bro. In my opinion, but he
He's up
just
there though. He's really good.
he's like number one, and then it's like number two. I don't know. I gotta do my research, but Usyk is top 10, top 15, um, all time. You know, that's
For
where I
sure.
got him.
For sure. He's up there, bro. That Usyk, just to take shots at warp speed, Usyk is what Lomachenko was supposed to accomplish in his professional career.
Ah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko was supposed to be undisputed. He wasn't supposed to lose to Orlando Salido. He wasn't supposed to lose to Teofimo Lopez, a 22-year-old, and spot him 6 rounds. He wasn't supposed to lose to Devin Haney. What Usyk has accomplished, that's what people were hyping up Loma to be. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like I like Loma. Obviously, the dude has an amazing skills, just like Usyk. But Loma does come up short in the biggest fights. Now, I thought he did beat Devin Haney, right? But Usyk would knock these dudes down, or he would hurt them, and it'd be a shadow of no doubt. Lomachenko, though, was down in those fights. You see what I'm saying? Like Teofimo fight, bro. You spotted him 5 or 6 rounds. Why? I know you got an injured shoulder, but why? Why are you spotting him 6 rounds, bro? This is for undisputed, right?
Mhm.
You knew the stakes. That's why you didn't want to pull out of this fight in the beginning, because you thought that you were good enough to beat him. Well, if you're good enough to beat him, you don't spot another man 6 rounds. That's crazy. No, you realize that when you started to pivot and get to the outside, Teofimo was matching your speed with your power, and he was also pivoting and keeping you in the front, and he was digging body shots. You remember what Salido was able to do to you. You think Alexander Usyk is losing to an Orlando Salido in his second fight? Hell no.
Well, you gotta put it in more context. Like, give Usyk a better I'm not sure how he started in the cruiserweight division, but the cruiserweight division isn't that loaded. I gotta give some
No, there were some really good guys in the cruiserweight division, not just Brady's Brady's. Usyk fought a prime Brady's, not
who
a
did he
Jay
start with
Overtime
though?
Brady's, 8 years removed. No, he fought a prime Brady's when Brady's was undefeated. There was a super world classic, I don't know, tournament, the Super 16 or whatever. There was also this Cuban guy named Dorticos. He was really good. He was like basically Deontay Wilder, a dangerous right hand. And there was a couple other cruiserweights. There was this heavyweight named Murat Gassiev, right? And now he's a heavyweight himself, and he just knocked the block off like an Alexander Povetkin type fighter. I forgot who Murat Gassiev fought. He was known for the guy who put another Cuban. He was a southpaw on his ass in 2 rounds, bro. Kind of like Zab Judah was made on the stinky leg. That's what Gassiev did to this Cuban fighter. His name was like, fuck, man, you're gonna have to make me pull a box rec. Murat Gassiev. Box rec.
Loma's in a better division, bro. It's just like, it's just his size, bro. Like, whenever you got to deal with explosive motherfuckers, like it's tough. They're gonna be tough fucking outings, bro. I think Usyk is just uh his size, bro, allowed him to, like in the cruiserweight division, bro. I'm telling you, like, it's not as loaded, man. And he didn't start right away with an Orlando Salido type of fighter in his pro debut. He wasn't getting built up like fucking Loma in Top Rank. He was going through Matchroom, I believe, right? So I don't think he was like built up like him, bro. So he didn't get tested. He didn't, like he's obviously one of the all-time greats, and maybe he would have passed those tests, in the beginning parts of his career. But I just feel like
No,
Loma.
you're actually right on that aspect. He did fight guys with a lot of experience, but they weren't guys like Orlando Salido. It took him about maybe 9 or 10 fights to really start fighting guys like Glonaki or something of that nature. But yeah, no, man, like Usyk has done great, and Lomachenko has done great. But yeah, man, just I just feel like when it came down to narratives and how they were pushing Lomachenko he had amazing hype, but because the hype was real. But if you look at the beautiful matchmaking that Top Rank always does on their fighters and the narratives that they're able to create. It just fit the mold for Lomachenko to have this stellar, accelerated career success where Usyk really had to get it, quote unquote, out the mud. You see, when in the history of the sport of boxing, bro, have you ever had a fighter come out of the amateurs and in their second fight, they're already ranked in the top 10 and they're already fighting for a championship belt? Never, bro. Kind of like Cat Williams on that Shannon Sharp interview when he was talking about, like, how the fuck did Kevin Hart get into this position when he never had an opening mic or had a concert or, a comedy show? How was he already hosting and he was taking the movie roles, right, of a movie called Soul Plane? How was he the lead of Soul Plane? No one had even heard of Kevin Hart. That's what you call an industry plant. Lomachenko, yes, he's like 396 wins to 1 loss, but never did he have to really sacrifice, right, and get, quote unquote, out the mud when he turned professionally. Now you may be like, well, he fought 400 fights as an amateur for free, bro. Like that was his sacrifice. All of these other fighters like Floyd Mayweather have amazing records, just like Lomachenko, stellar Hall of Fame resume, and guess what? In their second fight, they weren't fucking greeted to a championship fight out the bag. They still had to get, go through the prospect phase, the contender phase, and then boom. You get what I'm saying? Like, no one in the history. Roby C. Ramirez, I think he's a 2-time gold medalist as well when he beat Shakur Stevenson. He needed, after he suffered his first, fight, he got knocked out by the same dude. It wasn't a championship fight, though. He had 2 gold medals. Same thing with Anthony Joshua. He was a gold medalist. It still took him like 10, 20 fights down the road to actually become a champion. So when we talk about like influence and pull, Lomachenko always had it easier, right? Where Usyk, right, when instead of always looking arty and farty and looking cute, Usyk was always taking tough fights past a certain point. And there was always this like proper matchmaking for Lomachenko to sell us, the high-tech skills, the Guillermo Rigondeaux moving up, Nomaschenko, all of these fighters like Nicholas Waters making them quit. Like, Loma had that pull. So when I, try to take a little bit of shots of Loma was supposed to be what Usyk is right now, that's a fucking fact. Lomachenko was supposed to be essentially 2-time undisputed at 130 and let alone 135. Ring and lineal. And to this day, I'm going to sound a little bit like a hypocrite, but he still needs that undisputed title in his resume. He needs it. Hey, bro, on that note, I'm not saying that I'm done, but hey, Speed, if you can hop on, bro, I got to wrap it up here. But yeah, Drew, or Dream, hold it down, bro. Just do your thing.
Nah, man, I'm done too, man.
All right, for
That's
sure, bro.
man.
Hey, on that note, just because I got to wrap it up, but yeah, man,
All
I know, Warp Speed wants to hop on, bro. I think I'm going to end it. But yeah, man, yeah, dude, dude, there's so much to talk about, but I gotta get home. I'm freaking hungry. I'm starving. I haven't ate since like fucking midday. What am I, fasting like Devin Haney is? You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to do it the other way around.
Read the chats, but if Speed wants to hop on, I'll let it on. But you guys do your thing.
All right, man. Peace.
Later, bro.
Yeah, I just feel like when it comes down to those basketball games, it's always a 50-50. Yo, guys, hold on. I'm trying to see if old boy Speed is gonna hop on.